At least 10 top scientists in America have gone missing ever since 2023. Is it a coincidence or is something else happening? If you read my article, it broke down the bigger picture about what is going on and why this team's so mysterious and weird. Something is happening, I think, but I mean, I'm just a dude. You do your own research, of course, but in this video, we're going to break down the missing scientists, why it's all piecing together, and why the government has started its own investigation into this. Things are getting really weird out there, people. So I made this video using Google's Notebook LM, and this is the first time I've watched it, so we're going to watch it together. I also wrote an article. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link in the description. It's pretty crazy, dude. And I kept reading about it in articles, but I didn't really know how big it was. You know what I mean? Like why it's such a big deal. All right, without further ado, let's get into it.
Science is cool.
All right, you guys ready for this? Let's check it out.
Over the past 3 years, 11 brilliant minds connected to U.S. nuclear, aerospace, and defense programs have either died or vanished without a trace. These cases span the country, stretching from the secretive labs of Los Alamos to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. The incidents range from researchers quietly disappearing during weekend hikes to astrophysicists being gunned down on their front porches. Online forums quickly connected the dots. Commentators speculated about a massive UFO cover-up.
Yeah, I saw a thing where, I forgot which person it was, but they just left their keys, left their phone, and they just walked out of the house. Then there was another one too who, this is in my article I wrote, who left everything in the house, but he took his hiking boots and a gun, which is crazy, right? What if they'll talk about that in this? All right, let's keep going.
These espionage operations eliminating key researchers, or even the deployment of directed energy weapons to silence government dissidents. On the surface, it reads exactly like the plot of a Hollywood spy thriller.
Man, I love
a coordinated,
the
high-stakes shadow war against America's top scientific minds. The online panic generated such immense volume that it eventually forced a public response from the President of the United States. This intense public pressure triggered formal inquiries by the FBI and the Department of Energy to search for connective tissue between these scattered cases. Yet there's a massive gap between the sprawling conspiracies being investigated in Washington.
It is kind of crazy. In 3 years, though, 10 or 11 scientists come up missing. Like, yeah, missing or just die of weird circumstances. It is a little weird. I'm trying not to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm trying to open my mind so I could just collect the information, but, you know, you get that gut feeling.
And the concrete evidence gathered by local police departments on the ground. To understand why these scientists are disappearing, we have to ignore the viral headlines entirely and dissect the actual police case files. Take the case of MIT professor Nuno Loureiro.
Man, so this is going to go into pretty good detail. I love Google's Notebook LM. This thing is crazy when you want to research stuff. If you want to get a really big deep dive, check out my article. The link will be in the description. And I go into deep detail of the whole thing, of all the evidence and just what other people are saying. And it's a pretty good one if you want to check it out. All right, let's keep going.
Theorists pointed to his death as a targeted assassination by a foreign hit squad. The police file tells a very different story. He was murdered by a former classmate holding a decades-old personal grudge, the exact same man who committed a mass shooting at Brown University just a day earlier.
Holy crap.
The tragic death of anti-gravity researcher Amy Eskridge was confirmed by her family as a suicide.
Researcher? I wonder how far they are into anti-gravity. You know what I mean? I wonder what, because we don't see all the technology, of course. We're just normal people. But they probably have some crazy technology, dude. Let's keep going.
Following years of severe chronic pain. And Michael David Hicks, a NASA researcher, died from standard cardiovascular disease. When retired Air Force General William McCaslin vanished, the internet cited his past command roles. His family, however, clarified that he held highly standard, outdated security clearances and was suffering from known health issues at the time he disappeared. When we remove the red string and isolate these cases, there is zero evidence of a coordinated plot. we are left with a series of entirely unrelated human tragedies. To understand why these unrelated deaths felt like an intentional pattern, we have to look at the math behind the U.S. defense sector. This diagram shows the true scale of the industry. Over 700,000 Americans currently hold active security clearances in aerospace, nuclear, and defense.
Yeah, they hold clearances, but I want to know how far, like how deep their clearances go. The 11 ones that are being investigated. Like, this is trying to say that it's not anything crazy, but the government's opening this big thing about it. So I want to know how deep their clearances go.
Fields. In a population of that size over a 3-year span, statistical mortality rates expect roughly 250 unnatural deaths, such as homicides, suicides, and accidents. Those 11 initial cases fit easily within the normal mathematical baseline. This brings us to apophenia, a psychological flaw hardwired into the human brain that forces us to see meaningful, sinister links between entirely random data points. Online data miners triggered this exact bias by taking the normal expected mortality rate of a massive industry, filtering the results specifically for the word scientist, and presenting the compiled list as a targeted attack. The pattern of missing scientists is an illusion. It is a mathematical inevitability filtered through our own cognitive bias. The real danger of this story is the terrifying speed at which a baseless earn-it theory hijacked federal resources. Lawmakers utilized these unrelated tragedies to demand formal federal investigations, pulling the FBI into an expensive wild goose chase based entirely on forum posts. Down on the ground, grieving families are forced to watch the mundane or tragic deaths of their loved ones be twisted into science fiction content for internet clicks. The true consequence of apophenia is that it monetizes human trauma and distracts authorities.
That is crazy, dude. I feel sorry for the families. I'm sure they're going through some crazy stuff. But I guess what makes it seem mysterious is all the content that's being made about it, the articles and all the other stuff. I do have a couple questions, of course, just like anybody would. Like, what was their clearance? And I want to know what information the government has to which they are now going to open an investigation about it. What made them even, what piqued their interest? Where'd the story come from? But, I mean, hopefully we'll get more answers in the future. Anybody making content saying that this is a cover-up and all this stuff happening needs to check facts. Because I feel like something weird is happening, but I'm not saying it is happening. I'm saying I think we need more information, and I think that with time we will get it, and it just seems weird and mysterious, you know what I mean? And I want to know their clearance level. Once we know their clearance level, I think we'll have a better gut feeling of what exactly is going on. If they have low clearance levels, then, you know what I mean, there's nothing weird going on at all. But if they have like extremely high and they're the only people with them, or like there's only a couple with them, then that might raise some red flags, maybe. Anyways, let's keep going.
From actual pressing issues. The reality behind the missing scientists is far messier and sadder than a neat cinematic conspiracy. The next time a viral mystery surfaces online, look for the denominator before panicking over the numerator. Finding the truth requires respecting the grounded facts and constantly guarding against our brain's desperate hardwired need to find patterns in the noise.
Man, that was pretty good. I like how it kept it to the facts. It didn't want to spit out anything like conspiracy theories. Google LM is cool. There are questions, and I'm sure a lot of us are wondering what the heck is going on and why all of a sudden this got so much traction in the news, you know what I mean? So I guess in time we will see. Thanks for watching. Check out the article, and as always, stay curious, keep learning. Have a good day.